This is Hockey Prospect Radio on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, partnered with ECAC Hockey, the leaders in hockey on and off the ice. Learn more at ecachockey.com. Happy to bring on JF Houle, head coach for Clarkson University in the men's side. JF, thanks for coming on the show again. Always appreciate it.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Well, you had two really fascinating non-conference games over the last couple of weeks with Penn State. And talk about the challenge. I mean, Penn State had a lot of attention, obviously, with two of their players coming from the CHL and really, upping the profile of that program. And then your group of boys went in there and played them hard, won one game, lost the other. Talk about what that challenge was for your team and how beneficial it was to sort of like take that challenge on early in the season.
Yeah, real beneficial for our program and our young players here. We're a young team this year. I think this weekend we only had like two seniors in the lineup, maybe two juniors. So primarily a lot of freshmen and sophomore. But for us, it was an opportunity to play against a program that's got an aura around them right now, and that is very, very talented in Penn State. And it was just important for us to play hard, play in the trenches. And that's what we did that's what we did over the weekend. That's the only way that we think we can win against a team like that. And we're really proud of our players' effort for the weekend.
For the young guys, do you like throwing that big bucket of cold water on them early and like, okay, this is what to expect. This is what's going to happen, because particularly your freshmen, the ECAC, although you got Ivies in there and you got your teams. It's not just a bunch of smart kids who can't play. It's actually one of the heavier, grittier conferences in college hockey. Like, you play a much more, I think, pro-style structured game that's in the trenches comparative to a lot of the other conferences.
Yeah, I agree. I think the ECC is not an easy conference. It's you never know what you're going to get. You have to be ready for all kinds of different things. To me, it's a heavy league and not easy to play in. So yes, we were happy to play a big team like that, and we had a lot of good lessons throughout the weekend that's going to carry on for the rest of the year. So for us to have those lessons early is a plus. It's the ECAC is not an easy league at all. You have some very good team, and for us it was a good opportunity for us.
I'd like to get your thoughts on, now that the CHL players are eligible to play in college hockey, you come from a really unique perspective, because you're one of the only coaches that I know that has recently coached in the CHL, but then has coached in the American League for a decade, and then has come back and coached again in college hockey. And talk about watching players develop in all three of those leagues. Because the perspective I always had is hockey was always missing that middle developmental window for players, where we didn't have what baseball had. Baseball had single A, double A, triple A. And now I think with the CHL and the USHL can be single A, and college hockey can be double A, and the American League can be triple A. Because I watch a lot of American League hockey. I always cringe when I see the 20-year-olds come in to the American League, because that league's a meat grinder. You're playing against men who want to get back to the NHL. They have families, and it's just a different perspective. Do you like the fact now that there's opportunities for players to develop at different paces and not throw them to the deep end of the pool with an anchor that is the American League?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great benefit for the players. Just like you, I think it's going to be a place where a player could continue their development. The American Hockey League is a very, very hard and demanding league. And I think having the college in between for a 20-year-old to go play college 2-3 years, or maybe even 4 years, it's just a great thing. You play against more of your peers, and you get to have 4 more years in the gym. You get 4 more years to develop as a player. I think it's a great thing. It's a great benefit for all the major junior players that will have a chance to go to college. And for the late bloomers, I mean, not everybody can play as a 20, 21, or 22 in the American Hockey League. It's not an easy league. and so I think it's a real benefit to college hockey, and hopefully to the younger generation here moving forward.
When I look at the players that I've observed through the prospects coming through CHL into the American League, or even from college and doing a one and done and jumping and having to play, I think some of the great benefits for college hockey is actually off ice, is learning your time management properly. You have your schedule with your academics, you have your schedule with hockey, you have games on the weekend. You're in a peer group of people who are high achievers, particularly in the ECAC. Everybody academically are high achievers. You think that is that, and then getting in the gym and training without having to play all the time. Do you think that off ice element to college hockey is the thing that was missing really in that developmental steps going into the American League?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's why it's a great thing that the CHL players can play college now, just for the off ice thing. Like a lot of we have a lot of CHL players that are coming in this year, and they're all on the smaller side, and maybe need to get stronger, and that's why they're here. That's why they're not playing pro yet. Hopefully they can develop their bodies, develop the way to do things,
Good habits.
and yeah, the habits and all the little intangibles that make you a better pro. Uh, and it's a different game too. Like the CHL and then the NCAA is a totally different game. I see the CHL more of an entry type of game where it's flowing a lot more. In the NCAA, there's a lot of it's a grinding. You have to grind for your goals. You only play 2 games a week. It's heavy. It's so for
I
them, for
agree.
the CHL, yeah. So it gives them two different perspective of hockey, the entry, the major junior type of way in the college. So I think it's going to prepare them better to become pros.
I want to ask you about a couple of drafted players you have in your lineup. And first is Matthew Mayich, a draft pick by the St. Louis Blues defenseman. And he's one of those players that we had talked about that's transitioning, from that junior game of coming with the Ottawa 67s. I know he's a big kid, but it's just a different style of game. And he's no longer having to play on average against a player who's 18 and a half years of age. Now it's 21 and a half years of age. Talk about a little bit. It's only been a couple games for him, but talk about that transition for him and what you've seen.
Yeah, good transition for Mayach. He's a big boy that was logging a lot of minutes for the Ottawa 67s. So he comes here, spends more time in the gyms, and his ice time is spread out a little bit more. He's played really well the first 3 games. We're very impressed with him. He's a great addition to our club, and all he needs is time. He needs time in order to get better and hopefully play pro. So for him, it's a great decision to go to college, and we're really happy where he's at right now.
One of the things I noticed, particularly when you're an older defenseman or even an older forward, is you play far more minutes than you probably should because you're a senior player. And then there's a lack of pace at sometimes, and there's some junior habits that creep in because you're forced to pace yourself. And you go to college, you're like, hey, you're not playing 25, 27 minutes a game. You're going to play maybe
Yeah,
20, 18 to 20 as a defenseman, but you're going to play high, hard pace. So when you come
yeah,
off the ice, you're going to be laboring for breath.
absolutely. We have a bunch of 20-year-olds that came from the CHL. It's the same thing you just said. Like they're used to pace themselves because they know they're getting a lot of ice time. But in college, it's 34 or 40 games,
Hard
and
games.
every game matters, and it's hard. And so those CHL players, it's not going to be easy. They're going to have to learn the work and find out a different way. They're going to learn pretty quick that the NCAA is a little different from the CHL.
Just last player to talk about briefly before we have to let you go, Jack Sparks, big, massive kid. Like I don't know what they fed that kid, but he's a dinosaur. Thoughts on his development? Draft pick of the LA Kings.
Yeah, no, we're he's taking the right steps. He's on his sophomore year. Last year, he still has to work on a few things in his defensive side of the puck. But for a big man, he can skate well. He moves the puck. He's a great teammate. He's very very well liked here by the teammates, community, the alums. was a great person, and we like his progress. We like the way he's getting better every day. And they don't make him that big anymore, so he's got the long reach. He can defend very well. He's got a long stick, and he can be very physical and put some fear into the opponents.
JF, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you this season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after these messages.